Welcome back. We're still having fun on sports this morning, broadcasting live from Channels Television Sports Center in Lagos, Nigeria. The newspaper review and athletics just gone by. Time to take a look at Nigeria's preparations for the 2050 All-Africa Games in Congo, Brazil. It's going to kick off on the 4th of September. So, guys, no time anymore. We need to know how our guys are getting ready. Joining us in the studio is the president of the Nigerian Taekwondo Federation. There will be no kicking. There will be no kicking because he knows how to kick very well. Judge Ashiru joins us. Take a look at how Taekwondo is getting ready for the All-Africa Games. Again, I have the privilege of getting a handshake.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to come there sometime soon. You're welcome, George Ashiru.
Judge. Okay, Taekwondo, Chika Chukwumerije brought it into the limelight big time in this country, and I know your federation has been doing so much for talent discovery and development. All Africa Games, what should we be expecting?
For the general preparation of Team Nigeria, we're all on team Plan B now. Plan A was on the basis that all preparations would have started a lot earlier, but because of the change in government, elections, the late release of funds from the presidency, we have to enter Plan B. That's for all sports. So when you enter Plan B, you have new tactics. You use new strategies. You may have to rely on the miracle of the man.
Saudi 89.
Yes, but I think we have a lot of talented athletes. Don't forget, last year we in Taekwondo had the opportunity of exposing some of our athletes to the Commonwealth Taekwondo Championships. They came back with 10 medals. So we have the general abilities. What would have been nicer would be for them to have had the opportunity of getting more international competition tours from January, every other month, because the competitors will determine your prognosis. You don't just say you're going to win 5 gold medals if your competitors have been training for 18 months and you are just coming from the village. So regardless of how talented you are, we are in a technological age. Taekwondo now is so technological. Every single part of the body armor they use is electronics. And if our athletes are not used to using it regularly, that may be the difference between their talent and what happens in the ring. So those are tactical issues. And I've factored that in my preparations. And our athletes are currently training in camp, training at the center that has all this equipment. And we're at the Korean Center in Abuja.
Okay.
We're very fortunate to have a very good relationship with the Korean government. So the Korean Cultural Center is fully equipped with Taekwondo equipment, and they've gladly given us the entire place for free. Just go ahead, use it, and get the results. And so I was there last week. I had a discussion with the director, and they've gone even further to say whatever else our country can provide to support your country to do well in Africa, we'll do it. So we were making use of every single thing we have. My Korean coach is currently in Korea, and I've also made sure that he's up to date with what's going on. What's new? What is the new technology? What are the new changes? Any additions, any changes in refereeing rules, interpretations? Those are also important tactical things we need to put in place, because even if we train the athletes, if those areas are not in place, at that high level, they may not get the results we expect.
And I'm sure the Korean coach is also looking at having more local coaches as well, to take up this.
As a matter of fact, the Korean coach is more of an international technical advisor for us.
Okay.
I've always said that our capacity must be built to the level where we can deliver the results. So when we bring in a foreign expert, we just want to make sure that areas we're not looking at, areas we're not focusing on, areas where we don't have the information that they have from the advanced information they have in a country research, which we don't have, then those areas can be filled up by this international expert. And they're not here forever. They are here for maybe 2 years, 3 years. We take and pick the information, the relationship will help us have access to data we would not normally have had access to. So the gentleman is helping me in my own vision as a president to get that done. This is what I want. Can you give it to me? No problem, President. I'll find out for you. I need this, I need this, I need that. So when I make a decision, it's now properly informed. Whereas our local coaches, again, back to the fact that until these coaches keep traveling for tournaments, they will not have the level of experience we need.
Okay, now, let me ask this question. How many players do we have in camp right now? And when are we going to have the final list?
The National Sports Commission has given us 28 athletes to bring into camp. We wanted 40, but because of the budget issues, they've given us 28. And by the 14th of August, I expect to be a final list to come out because there will be internal trials. The final list of 16 that will represent Nigeria, the list will be released immediately after the trials are concluded, the final trials.
The funds from the National Sports Commission, have you guys received anything from them?
The National Sports Commission is centrally planning all campaign. We have a ministerial technical committee that is in charge of the All Africa Games. I happen to be a member. And that committee centralizes all plans so that as a team, you have doctors visiting camps and all that. The only area where you may have some level of autonomy is maybe when you are purchasing your equipment, since equipments are unique to each sport. But in terms of camping, the hotel has been organized by Sports Commission, the feeding arrangements, the athletes are already in camp as we speak. The coaches are in there with them. Training has started in earnest. So if there's anything that is unique to us that we need, we make a request for it, and then the Sports Commission will make the appropriate action.
George, I know what is unique to you is ensuring that you meet your 2015 goals. At the start of the year, we had a conversation. You said attention will be on talent discovery, development, and you also mentioned the intercollegiate games.
Yes.
How far are we with that?
We've done it. We had the National Collegiate Taekwondo Championships first time in over 20 years, where we had polytechnics and universities and other tertiary institutions, University of Ife, Obafemi Awolowo University competing against each other. And some of the discoveries from that are already in camp.
That's what I want.
We've achieved that. We've achieved 100% of our plans in Taekwondo. Once we state it, it's because we have thought through how to put it to pass. The only area now that I've told everybody to be a little patient is, I won't predict medals for all Africa Games until after campaign is over, because that's when you will now look at your athletes and see their current condition and say, okay, I think we're good to go. And we have to do some research on our competitors.
That's very, very important.
Is there any shining light, perhaps, that you may just, you may have seen that you think, well, maybe this guy, can really...
I look at the athletes. I did the same thing I did for the Commonwealth. When we were going to the Commonwealth, there was nothing to indicate what our level of performance will be, especially since we're taking a brand new team. As you said, Chika is the shining light of Taekwondo, and as he's beginning to consider retiring, we have to think, who are the next generation? And we have 16 people in 16 weight categories. And we decided, okay, we're going to take that risk. Coaches, fresh. Athletes, fresh. And we went and we surprised everybody. So we will continue doing something that is unpredictable, and hopefully we'll get the results.
And we'll just get the shocker.
Exactly. Thank you.
I think, but let's just finally, before we let you go, where are we with the going back to the schools campaign?
In terms of Taekwondo?
Yeah.
Oh, the schools, we've never left the schools. We've never left the schools. If you go into, I mean, I'm challenging you. Go into any school in Lagos. One out of every two, they probably have Taekwondo instructor there. I'm talking of private
every school in Lagos.
In Lagos.
We'll start with the one down the street.
The government schools, no, because the procedure for starting a sport in a school requires approval from. You don't just go into government schools, but the average private school. I drive around with the boss of the National Taekwondo Federation just for the purpose of publicity. And as soon as I park, people come and knock the door. We want this thing in my school. Want this thing in my school. I have sent out instructors to 10 schools in the past 4 months. And that shows you the level that we have been able to brand our sport and people want to participate.
Awareness is
so our challenge now is that we don't have enough instructors. Because think of how many schools there are. Think of how many people, human beings there are who are Taekwondo instructors. So that's one of the things in which the Korean coach is helping me with, producing coaches. So we had an IOC course, 25 coaches were taught. We had an instructors course last year, 160 instructors were taught. So if we can have a situation where we have 500 to 1,000 in the next 2-3 years, then they can move out and be more effective.
You talked about collegiate championships, right? Are we going to be having the same thing in school, primary schools and secondary schools?
School sports, we can do that, but the administration of school sports is a little bit more technical. Even the collegiate, we have to go through Ministry of Education. And you know, National Sports Commission is not Ministry of Education. You don't just go to university and set things up. It requires NUC, NUGA. So we will do our best to make it happen.
All right, thanks so much, George, for coming around.
My pleasure.
I told you guys, no kicking. Thank you so much. We'll get to bring you back.
Well, I may have to get some kicking lessons from him, maybe out of the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, George, for coming.
Thank you.